Title IX, signed by President Nixon June 23rd, 1972. Before the law has been passed, many leading universities and colleges did not accept women, and especially in law schools and medical schools, they used quotas to limit the female enrollment. And as for sports, female student athletes were very rare and received minimal support from the college athletic programs. Women's athletic has grown substantially in recent decades, and it's all thanks to Title IX.
Title IX obviously has had a big impact on sports and equality. The year before Title IX was enacted, there were only about 310,000 girls and women in America throughout the whole country playing high school and college sports. And now today, there are more than 3,373,000. So obviously, there's a big difference right there. In 1972, just 1 in 27 girls participated in high school sports, and today it's about 2 in 5, according to the Women's Sports Foundation. There are more opportunities to compete at elite levels through competitions like the Olympics, World Championships, and professional leagues. And before Title IX, women were not awarded scholarships at all. And now by 2003, there were more than $1 million in scholarships for Division I schools.
Title IX was great when there was problems with equality and women actually needed it in order to get the same chance as men did. But it's been around 40 years since then. The question is, do we still need it?
How you guys doing? I'm Robin Custodio.
And I'm Ben Camacho.
We're here to talk to you about how we think Title IX has done its job, and we believe that getting rid of Title IX is probably the best option for everyone. By the facts that I have stated before about Title IX and what's done, we believe that it's reached its peak. We believe that it's hard enough to get to where it has been, and it's done a great job, but we believe that it can only get to a certain point. We believe that Title IX has done that already. Like I said, the participation numbers has gone up, scholarship numbers has gone up, and participation in high schools and colleges has gone up. So obviously there's a certain cap where we have to put it, and we believe that it's reached and Title IX is no longer needed.
Now, there are percentages that show, actually a study done by Robert Diener, an associate professor of psychology, that shows that on average, men actually play sports 3 times as much as women do, and that's today. Based on that number, it just goes to show that there's no level balance between women and men's sports, even with Title IX in it. Diener said there's a view based on the fact that women comprise 42% of high school sports and 43% of intercollegiate sports.
Based off that, we believe that people are going to question us about participation numbers. It's high, but it's not where it needs to be. Well, we think that that's based on personal preference, and what Nito was saying about the science studies and everything like that, saying that how men are more not entitled. They prefer to play sports rather than women is pretty much what that study is showing. Problems with Title IX, this is why we want to get rid of them, and this one of the problems is the men's teams that are being removed. We believe that's not fair for them. And Nito will talk to you about that as well.
Yes, now in the colleges now, there's obviously a quota or a participation level that needs to be met. Basically, the way it works is if there are 60% female student body, then 60% of the athletes must also be female. Now, let me stop right there. There's nothing wrong with one sex being more into a sport than the other. There's no discrimination there. So what is the problem when there are less women in general that want to play? So, like the percentages here, 60%. Well, total in average in the entire nation, it's not 60%. It's only 43%. Now, going off that, in order to level out the women's sports, they are taking away men's teams. And we don't think this is very fair, especially because many of the men that go to school that are going to play a sport, especially D1, they're going there as basically a tryout for a job opportunity in sports. Or maybe, even just because they went to that school just because they love that school and that's where they wanted to play sports, and that was their main reason for going there. We have an example as Howard University in Washington, D.C. School's body was 67% female, but the women constitute only 43% of its athletic program. Now, Howard had to cut men's wrestling and baseball and then add women's bowling, and that still didn't even bring it to the same level. Now, let's see. I think it's safe to say that proportional standard has been disastrous simply because far more males simply want to play than females.
Definitely. I think this all ties in together about who wants to play and who prefers or who rather is playing sports. I think all in all, just the fact that Title IX contradicts what it really is trying to do. Title IX wants to make it equal between women and men by percentages and proportions. Like you said, the enrollment and everything like that has to match the participation. We think it contradicts what it's trying to do because by doing that, you're trying to remove men's sports, and we believe that it's just not fair by getting rid of men's sports to equalize the participation numbers, when in fact, a lot of times it doesn't even help the participation numbers. So we believe that it contradicts it, and that's a big part of what Title IX does, which is why we want to get rid of it in sports. Based off that, we want to get rid of it, Title IX in sports, but we also want to add a little spin on what we added. We're going to call it the proportion law. What that means is we're basing our proportions off of the nationwide participation numbers for women. So we believe that Neil said it was like 43% participation rate for women's college participation numbers. So we believe that we could use that number instead of having the enrollment have 60%, so you need the athletic participation numbers to be 60%. So we believe we have one simple number, 43%, for every university to be easier on everyone. Be easier on the university to manage that. It would be easier on the people who have to do the research and finding out if there's a Title IX infraction or anything like that. So that's a little spin we want to add. So we're getting rid of Title IX in sports, but it's not totally. So there's always that one thing they have to abide by. And obviously, what we're doing here is going to bring up a lot of questions about equality. So one of the questions we thought that would be brought up, without Title IX, people will feel that the equality will not exist anymore. So without the law, people will think that, we're not going to be equal towards women or anything like that. We believe that's not true just because of the fact that women's sports already are established and will not get removed just because the law is removed. Many examples of established women's sports, you have the UConn's women's basketball team, you have national teams for women's soccer, everything like that. They have gained success. They gained success because of the Title IX and what it's done for everyone. So we believe that, like we said, it's done its job. It's there, and it will only pretty much, there's no point of it pretty much. And then a second question that we thought we'd get, why get rid of Title IX if people believe that it has not done enough, which we think it has, in terms of the participation, which we said before, scholarships, the equipment, facilities, and even like TV time. Talking about participation, why we think it has done enough.
Yeah, and like I said before, the statistics show that women do not participate, or it's not even if they don't want to, it's just they don't. They do not participate in sports today as much as men do. It's just a personal preference. There's nothing that goes against the women that says you guys cannot play. They're choosing not to play as much as men are.
Yeah, there's just not that interest as much as men. In terms of scholarships and equipment, facilities, and TV times, we believe that all ties in together. We believe that men's college sports just are more popular and have a bigger fan base, and this then leads to more scholarships for them. They want more scholarships for the men so they can get the better athletes there, and that's why they get the more TV time. Men's sports are just generally just more exciting to watch because they are faster, bigger, and they are more physical. This leads to more exciting games, right? So more exciting games, and which is why they have more TV time. So it's not the fact. It's not Title IX's not doing anything for that. It's a simple fact that it's more exciting to watch. Other than that, that's what we have. So we have the little spin on the proportion law, which we added, and Title IX, we believe it's done its job, and hopefully, it can do more for us. I guess. Yeah.
All right.
All right.